Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a quick guide to all of the books that I have published. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. So I actually have 12 books published with another one up for pre-order, which is really weird to say because I've only just announced that very recently. But today we're going to be doing like a little whistle-stop tour of all of them so that you can know like where to get them, how much they are, what they're about, if they're a standalone, all of that sort of thing. So if you've had any questions about my books, hopefully this video answers them, and if you have even more, then please let me know down in the comments. So the first book that I am going to talk about today is Lost for You. This was my debut novel, but also my favourite and most of my readers' favourite as well. It's the one that I've sold the most copies of, the one that people will read the most. So I figured it's a good one to start with. So Lost for You follows 18-year-old Harper, who is a first-year university student in Britain, and she has just been cheated on in her first relationship by a guy called Ash. So she's now trying to like move on from that, find herself again, kind of like figure out where she fits in at uni. But then just as she is finally figuring that out, Ash comes back and restarts that cycle of abuse. So it's quite an emotional one. It is based on my experiences, so it's very realistic, and people have said that in the reviews as well. The reviews for Lost for You have been like really lovely, to be honest. But yeah, so that is the premise. In terms of where you can get it then, so there's actually two editions that you can get physically. You can get the paperback or you can get the special edition hardback. So the hardback obviously has a new cover. It's got a bunch of like doodles, but it also has like a bunch of quotes that Ash says to Harper in the book. So it's kind of like everything that's going through her brain. So that's pretty cool. But you can get both of these on Amazon, but also on Etsy too. So the ebook is free on Kindle Unlimited, but you can also get it £3.99 on Amazon. The paperback is £9.99 on my Amazon and then £12.99 on my Etsy because it comes signed and with the matching bookmark, which will also be signed. And it also, I emboss the first page of any book that you get on my Etsy. And then the hardback is £19.99 on Amazon, but £22.99 on my Etsy because it also comes with the with the signature and also the bookmark too. Obviously with the hardback you're getting like bonus content, bonus graphics inside, so that's why the price is more expensive, because it is a special edition. But yeah, so that is everything for Lost for You. Okay, so we also have Never Forget You. So I published this last year in April, but the hardback actually just came out last month, which is pretty exciting. Last month? I actually think it was this month, but okay. But yeah, so Never Forget You is a YA coming of age, but this one's about grief. So it follows, well, I guess it starts with the prologue where Gracie's mum is killed in a hit and run, and like nobody knows who did it. But then the main story is like following Gracie a year later. Like her life is completely different now. Like everything has changed. But it changes even more when she finds her mum's diary that she kept when she was pregnant with her. And through this, she just finds out like a lot of dark secrets that have been kept from her over time. But also, she kind of starts to think like maybe the hit and run wasn't an accident after all. So it's quite like dark. It's very much like focused on the coming of age, even though that is that like mystery element at the same time. But yeah, so that's Never Forget You. This is the exact same prices as Lost for You. So free on Kindle Limited, £3.99 ebook, £9.99 or £12.99 on Amazon and Etsy for the paperback, and then £19.99 and then £22.99 for the hardback, depending on where you're getting it from as well. So that's the paperback, and then this is the hardback. So as you can see, it's got like a new cover, but it still follows like the glass shards from the original one. It comes with bonus content and graphics, and for this one, the bonus content is at the beginning of the book, so it's kind of like a prologue to the prologue in a sense, just to kind of give you like a bit more background on things. It's quite an emotional bonus content chapter, so good luck. And yeah, that is Never Forget You. Okay, so we also have Christmas with You, which I published like winter of 2024. This one is a YA romantasy with OCD rep. So I'm diagnosed with OCD, but I wasn't when I published the book, but I very much knew I had it, and I had had a lot of therapy for it over the years. But then getting the diagnosis after, it was just like, yeah, that makes sense. So with this one, I really wanted to have a character that like represented how I felt as a teenager. Like I always felt like such an outsider because of my mental health. And so yeah, that's like the main premise of this one, is like looking at things like that. The actual like storyline, so Emily is 16 at the beginning of the book. Her like she's like an only child. Her parents are really lovely, but they're kind of like struggling financially quite a lot, and like life is very tricky. But they go on Christmas Eve to a Christmas tree farm, see if there's like any trees discounted, because what Christmas without a tree? But while they're there, Emily actually like stumbles through a portal on the Christmas tree farm, and she ends up in Silvermere, which is a magical alternative place to like York, where the main story is set. So it's like York, but not York, if that makes any sense. Um, and Silvermere is kind of like in our universe, 200 years in the past, like their Victorian era. Well, not like 200 years, but like 18 something. And I'm doing such a bad job explaining this book. Anyways, when she's in Silvermere, she meets Freddie Brownstone, and the two of them get caught up in the Second Dragon War, which I won't like go into too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a thing there. However, the main caveat is that the portal is only open at Christmas, so they can only see each other once a year. And so that is Christmas with You, a YA romantasy. The exact same pricing as the others, so free on Kindle Unlimited, £3.99 for the ebook, £9.99 or £12.99 for the paperback, and then £19.99 or £22.99 for the hardback as well. And that is Christmas with You. For the paperback, the hardback I mentioned is this one. So as you can see, it's got a new cover, different cover, and this one also has bonus content. The bonus content for this one is at the end of the book, and as usual, it also has bonus graphics as well. So they're your two options there, or you can get it on the Kindle. Okay, so next up we have Uncover. So this came out pretty recently, so it doesn't have like a hardback or anything yet. It's just paperback and Kindle. And this one is a YA sapphic coming of age with a mystery subplot as well. I do like my mystery subplots. So with this one, Ellie Mae's parents have just gone through like a very messy divorce. And to kind of deal with that, she's been sent to boarding school in Yorkshire in a place called Scarborough, which is a seaside town, so that her mum kind of has time to like build herself back up again, and she's struggling. She's not doing good. But the boarding school that Ellie goes to is called Beaumont Boarding School for Girls. It is right next to the castle in Scarborough. It's like a lovely place, and there she meets two girls called Ree and Sasha, and the three of them they become mixed up in like a 300-year-old mystery, which I'm not going to spoil that. You can read it and find out. But that mystery line parallels the main plot line, and throughout the book, Ellie Mae and Sasha get really close, but neither of them have ever liked a girl before, so like it's a lot of like, oh my gosh, what am I feeling? What is going on? So it's really cutesy, but also very emotional as well. And then there is also a really subtle eating disorder plotline as well to prepare for book 2, because this is actually a trilogy. So this one doesn't have the hardback yet, but you can get it free on Kindle Unlimited, £3.99 on Kindle, and then the paperback is £9.99 or £12.99. Okay, so then we have my historical novella series plus Phyllis, which isn't out yet, but you can pre-order it and we will get to that in a second. So Felicity is book 1. I wrote this when I was 17, so it is like my oldest book that you can like read on Amazon. It's a Regency romance with like slow burn, love triangle, forced proximity, that kind of vibe. It's very cutesy. It follows Felicity and like her relationship that she has to have with Mr. William Giles. If you like Jane Austen, for example, or Bridgerton, this is the perfect vibe for you. So that one is Felicity. Then book 2 is Adelaide. This one is more of like a domestic romance. So Adelaide is Felicity's elder sister, and she's been married to Nicholas for like a while now, and she's got like a little girl and everything. So like they've already fallen in love, but like their marriage is just having a few issues, and Great Aunt Augusta comes in to stir the pot a bit as well. So that's kind of the next one. And then book 3 is Kitty, which came out quite recently actually. It came out February 2025, so it's a very new one. And this is kind of like Lost for You, but like historically in the Regency period. So Kitty becomes like infatuated with this guy who lives next door called Nathaniel. And Nathaniel, once upon a time, he had a thing for Felicity, but we both want to see that. However, the two of them end up like eloping, like Kitty and Nathaniel, and the relationship ends up being like actually very toxic, not very safe. So, these are all YA books, all the ones I'm talking about now. So it is suitable for 13 plus, but it just touches on like, the darker sides of things and like what women actually went through. Nothing's explicit or anything like that, but it's just kind of, it's nothing that you don't know already from school. It's all like closed door kind of vibes. But it just, it goes through that, so it's kind of educational as well. But this one is very dramatic and also very emotional at the same time. And then we also have Phyllis, which is up for pre-order now. It comes out December 5th. And this one follows Phyllis, who is the youngest of the four Thorpe sisters. So it goes Adelaide, Felicity, Kitty, and then Phyllis. Don't ask me why Felicity was the first book. I don't know. So yeah, Phyllis is the youngest. I don't want to spoil too much about Phyllis's story because with it being book 4 in the series, you've already read what's happened in the other 3 books. The whole premise revolves around what happened in those 3 books, so I can't really say, but it is just Phyllis's story basically to round it all out. And if you're interested in having a nosy, it's only £1.79 to pre-order on Kindle on Amazon. It doesn't cost you a single penny until release day, so like if you order it now and you place a pre-order, it doesn't cost anything until December 5th when it will go straight to your Kindle. Like as soon as it releases, you will have it on your Kindle. But pre-orders just make such a big difference. So basically, I don't see any of those orders until release day, and then they all release at once. This tells Amazon that yes, your book is great, people like this book, and they push it out more, and it's gonna like make it easier for this book to be successful if I've got more pre-orders basically. At the moment I'm on 7 pre-orders. My goal is like 15 minimum. I would like to get higher than that if I can. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, it is only £1.79 and it won't even cost you anything right now, but I will just really, really appreciate that. Yeah, so in terms of the pricings for these books, they are novellas, so they are cheaper. As usual, they're free on Kindle Limited, but the ebooks are only £1.99. And when Phyllis comes out on release day, that will also go up to £1.99 as well. So you do get a slight discount. I couldn't go any lower because otherwise I would be under the threshold and I would only earn like 30% royalties, whereas being over £1.77 means I can get, I think it's 60% royalties. So it's like a massive difference. So that will change. And then the paperbacks are £7.99 on Amazon, and then on Etsy they are, I want to say £11.99 or £12.99. I can't remember, but you can also buy them as a bundle, like all 3 together, to get it discounted as well. The final books I'm going to talk about are my children's fantasy series. Now these are going to be getting a huge revamp soon, so if you want the first editions, get in now. So this is my Moonstone Academy series. Moonstone Academy is a school for witches. It's very much inspired by The Worst Witch because I loved those books and like the TV show, but I just wanted more, So this series will have 25 books when it's finished. So, we've only got like year 1 covered. There it's going to go through like all 5 years, and every single year it's going to get like slightly harder in terms of reading level because these are for children. So it starts kind of like 5+ and it's going to like build up over time. So book 1 is The Witch's Kitten. So in this one, Misty, who is the witch's kitten, she's just finished her familiar training and she is going to Moonstone Academy for the first time where she meets her witch. However, there is a witch gone wild who wants to take over the school for revenge. So that is book 1. Book 2 is The Broomstick Trials. So this is kind of like the Halloween book, the like spooky season vibes, and you have like a lot of guest characters in this one. Spook Spellman, the best character ever. But this one is all about like a Halloween show that they put on, and things go wrong because the witch from the first book comes back. Then we've got the Winter Wizard. So the Winter Wizard is kind of like a very old wizard who's kind of famous. He's done a lot, and he comes to the school to kind of, give some lessons to the students, but he also sets them a huge task in the forest to retrieve 3 things that I'm not going to go into because it spoils the rest of the plot that's going to be coming. However, in the forest, something does go wrong, and yeah. Then we have the Spring Spirits for book 4. So this one is when they go on like a school trip to see the spring ceremony being performed. I don't want to spoil too much with this one, but there's like tree houses and magic and a little island. Like it's really cute. And then the final book in the year 1 season is The Final Flame. This one's very dramatic. There's a lot of sacrifice in this. It's very big stakes, and it kind of wraps up the main antagonist plot line for the first 5 books because there's 25 books. We're not going to have the same antagonist for all of them. So it kind of is just a way to round them out. So In terms of these first editions at the moment then, so they're free on Kindle Unlimited, they're only 99p on ebook. They're children, so I don't want to charge too much for them. I want them to be readily available. And the paperbacks are £6.99. However, I am currently having an illustrator redesign all of the covers just to make them more professional. And as she does that, I'm also going through and like proofreading again, but also reformatting to make them a bit more professional inside. So these ones aren't actually going to be available for too much longer. There aren't many copies like in print around the world, so like they're kind of special. You know, if one day I make it big, they hopefully will be worth a lot of money, but I think they won't be available for too much longer. So if you do want these covers, or you just want to have the first editions, you don't have too much longer left. However, when the new books do come out, the price will be going up to £7.99, just because Amazon has changed their like threshold for the paperback. So at the moment I'm getting like the lower end of like percentage wise of what I could be getting, whereas if I put it to £7.99, it gets me back over that threshold. So there will be £7.99 when the new editions come out, but until then they'll be £6.99. And when the new editions come out, they will also be going on my Etsy. I don't know the prices yet because I have to work out all the expenses, but these ones will never be on my Etsy. They're just on Amazon for a little bit longer. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like there's so much to talk about with these ones, so that was quite a ramble. But yeah, okay, so that is a quick whistle-stop tour of all of my books that are available / up for pre-order. I hope that I have managed to convince you to pick up at least one of them. They are all like free on Kindle Unlimited. You know, I've tried to make them as accessible as possible. But yeah, it would just mean the absolute world to me if you could drop them like a review on Goodreads and Amazon as well. If you have read them, they're the best two places to review. But it goes for any indie author as well. Like, we're all kind of looking at those two places mainly to like boost sales, find more readers, that kind of thing. So if you have read them and you haven't left a review, please go and do that, because it will make a huge difference. And if you have any other questions about my books, please do drop them down in the comments and I can reply to them, give you an answer. And I'm sorry I couldn't answer it in this video. And yeah, hopefully that was very helpful and you enjoyed it and it wasn't too rambly, but I will see you all next week for the next video. This clip is for thumbnail stuff. Let me try and... Wait, my ear looks weird. Yeah. Hopefully that was okay.